So I was on court the other day with Toby, my student here on the left, all in red, and big fan of all in red, a Liverpool fan myself, but I'm all in blue, so what's going wrong? But anyway, some really good stuff here within the back, and I do like having this side by side, especially the front on version. So I'm going to dissect a few of his key little things on the back and that he's gone away and try to work on. You might already notice a few things there as I'm starting to play this, and I'm going to use this. And as always, I'm a big fan of doing it at about the same moment. We're roughly hitting the ball about the same moment there because we can deconstruct it. And as always, everyone, if you're watching this, please do click in the link in the description, grab your free personalized swing audit, send it in completely free of charge. Would love to do this. And as always, if you like this, please do share and subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference and helps a lot. So here we go. Let's dive in. So first thing we're going to notice is the classic diamond shape. So here's the diamond shape I talk a lot about. And with Toby, he's got it, but also not. Sorry for that terrible drawing. The big thing that we've been doing with him, a couple of things. He's got quite a big hitch. Look at how at the highest point, if you look at the highest point, or if you just draw at the top of my head here, compared to where Toby is, look how much higher his racket head is than my racket head. So there's quite a big hitch, and I think that makes things all a little bit floppy. So that's one of the big things we've been working on, is trying to tidy up his swing a little bit. You'll also notice that at that point here, I'm such a big fan of where that racket face is. You notice there, his mirror face, so what I call the mirror face, the side he's going to strike on, which is this side there, it's looking in the wrong direction. It's basically looking towards the glass, towards the back. You can see there, he twiddles it, he turns it, and for that then to come all the way through, produces this classic wobbly wrist, the swan neck or the rusty swinging gait, which is that real curl, that real break in the wrist. It breaks it, and actually there's a couple of reasons that wrist break happens. A lot of it's also to do with the spacing, which I'll talk about in a second. But just watch how he's coming through there. I call this a little bit of a cricket shot, where he's leaning back a little bit, he's opening his hips up almost too much, trying to create space, and playing a little bit of a cricket shot, a bit of a cover drive, a left-handed cricket shot there. So part of the lesson that we did after this is we looked at his hip position, and we try to really make sure that he kept his head down, his hips down, still releasing his shoulder and his back, but isolating that area where we can have that movement in the upper body there, but we want to be really secure in and around that hip area. So for me, that was a really key thing. And if you just watch mine on the right, you see how my shoulders and my chest are going, I'm releasing, but there's a relative stillness in and around there, in and around that hip position. My back foot sliding, which is great, so is Toby's, which is good. But just let's go frame by frame. Look at that. Look how he's clearing his right hip area to get out the way there. Let me go back and you'll see what I mean. Look at that. See how he's driving his left hip, and his left knee is driving crazy forward, isn't it? There's a lot of stuff going on there that he's having to open up. So that's just to do with spacing. If I was to film it from behind, and I've got a couple of things where I do film it from behind, we'll notice that his spacing and his foot is definitely too close to each other. Lots of little things here that we've been working on. He's going to really go away and work on this. The height of that swing, that initial setup is key. I'm really looking for him to bring that racket face round, keeping that wrist a little bit more cocked, and going to mine on the right. Let's just look at the classic, the 1, 2. I can't really draw the 2 because it's behind me, but the 1, 2, 3 element. When I'm getting to number 2, let's have a look at this. So at number 2, notice how my racket is flat, the blade is flat. It's looking up at the ceiling, as well as my knuckles and my forearm are looking upwards. At the same point in positions, in the same point at position 2 in Toby's, those knuckles are looking at the camera, the forearm's looking at the camera, and that racket's looking at the back wall. So these little things are such a big deterrent in regard to how he's hitting that shot. Let's take a look at a couple more little things that I try to notice with him. So yeah, that head down, let me just move his frame or two forward, so possibly about there. And as we're doing it, yeah, I've covered main points there. Look at the follow through as well. It goes, and actually he's got a little bad habit that he basically gets his follow through up to a good point and then he lassos it back in on itself. I've got another video where I do film him from behind that I show a little bit more. What I'm a big fan of is leave the follow through in that position there. So the top of the racket is looking towards the ceiling. The mirror face, the side that you've hit on, is going to be looking at the back wall, and the other side is going to be looking at the front wall. He almost gets it on his one on the left there, but not quite. So the main things, a lot of it's to do with the setup, how he jumps it up too much, how it's too high and also a little bit too late. We talk about the wobbly wrist, We talk about the angle of the racket face, where it's going. Just a little side note that I've just noticed, look at that crossing of the arms there. That's a little bit too severe. So I love that he's pulled, and actually we've done some work on this, which I want to point out. He's so good with his chin. Oh, sorry, not his chin, his shoulder coming underneath his chin. That's a really big improvement from what he was a couple of weeks ago. Really trying to turn to make sure that he's coiled, but this is way too crossed. Those arms are way too crossed. What I like to think about is there's a relationship between your wrist of both hands should be relatively close to each other. I like to talk quite a bit about that, where you're crossing your arms, yes, but there I think he's hugging himself and is all a little bit constrictive. Then as we're coming in, I talked about the swing shape. Look at how he's getting it slightly wrong, how he's opening up his hip, knee, and everything's opening to play that cricket shot because of the spacing. Leans back on it a little bit. And as you can see, I'm not super low, but I definitely think I'm engaging my legs a little bit more than Toby is, where he definitely feels like he's upright. I'm trying to stay down on the ball a little bit more, keeping my head, my chest, my shoulders down, completing my shot. I will obviously naturally open up as I start to swing and hit. But if you look at Toby there, there's a lot of that cricket shot that we want to try and avoid. So this has got to do definitely with positioning, but also got to do with the way he's setting up in this back part. So a little bit of fundamentals that he could go away and work on. He's really clear on this, and doing this video will hopefully help him. But anyone also that's watching with your backhand, if you're struggling on a few of these things, maybe this is resonating. And bit by bit, I'm going to start to collect more and more images of me doing it in different positions and use it in split screen to help everyone. But on that note, as always, guys, please do send in that free swing audit, and you'll probably see a little link in the description for the squash playbook. Would love the support, and please do share and subscribe far and wide. Really keen to grow this channel and help everyone as far and wide as possible with this. Listen, take care, everyone. Can't wait to do the next one. Speak to you all soon. Bye.